Hello everyone, welcome back to another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie review. We're talking about Turtles Forever, the 2009 multiverse movie, the true multiverse movie, the one that started before all the multiverse movies we're getting today. So let's get straight into it here. So this movie special was celebrating the 25th anniversary of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and honestly, I really had a fun time with this one. It was a great multiverse movie, it was a great multiverse special. You see lots of different elements, lots of different animation styles being brought into this. It was a Spider-Verse movie done in Teenage Mutant Ninja Styles format. So let's start off with the opening sequence you've got here with the Purple Dragon sort of robbing this place, ending up getting attacked by the Turtles, which makes the news, and that's where Splinter is introducing the Turtles from the 2003 series. So this is Michelangelo, Donatello, Leonardo, Raphael. This takes place after the Back to the Sewers series, I'm guessing, because the animation style is the same as the Back to the Sewers one. A season that I'm honestly not a huge fan of, but overall, animation-wise, do look decent. So we come to find out that it wasn't actually these Turtles that were the ones attacking the Purple Dragons, so it was a mistaken identity. But we get to see who the Turtles actually were, so we come to find out this is from the 1987 Turtles animation series, with honestly really fun, energetic Turtles there. You got to see a lot of humor, you got to see a lot of high energy, great tone, really cheesy light element to it. So you've got the 2003 Turtles, and then you've got these where like they're just party people, entertaining, fun, basically Mikey's cup of tea, which we'll come to find out in the movie, but they're the ones that have been captured by the Purple Dragons. And Hun realizes that these aren't the Turtles from his time, so you've just got like these wisecracking jokes, the fool breaking, which honestly was done so perfectly throughout the whole movie. So the fool breaking and Hun's reaction especially to it. But that's when you got the 2003 Turtles coming to their rescue. You see the great dialogue between one another, the jokes, the humor, the comparison with one another, and then the fight ensues between the Purple Dragons and the Turtles, where they're rescuing the Turtles. You're getting this little hint of the mutagen that the 87 Turtles have, which Han wants, and there was a little bit of drop was placed on the dog that the Purple Dragons have. But their fight ensues. Leo, the 2003 Leo, comes up with a great trick of having the Purple Dragons shoot the wall, where the wall ends up then losing balance and like landing on the Purple Dragons for the Turtles then to escape. The casual nature of the 87 Turtles, they end up going to the streets to go look for pizza just in broad daylight. Because of how their world is, it's just they really did these Turtles spot on, just in terms of their nature, the humor, the cheesiness. I just really had a great time with it, and Mikey's reaction, the 2003 Mikey's reaction, was just so brilliant. It just worked so well. They blended so great together. But once they try to go get pizza and the police arrive, they end up escaping through the back alleyway to meet the 2003 version of their Splinter. And we sort of understand what happened, why they're here. We come to find out that the 87 Turtles were fighting their version of the Shredder in the Technodrome. Something happens, one of the robots ends up shooting the portal thingy that they were at, ends up shooting it, and then they end up getting transported into the 2003 version's world. That's where we cut to the 87 version of the Shredder. Such a toned down version when you compare him to the 2003 version, but him and Krang having these great like one-liners with one another. They come to realize that there's 8 Turtles now, and so they send Bebop, Rocksteady, they send these robots going to fight them in this like underground area. And again, like the quips, the dialogue, Mikey just having a great time with the 87 Turtles catchphrases. And so again, fight sequences are taking place. The 87 versions of the Shredder ends up blasting his way out of the cave to try and escape, because he's got this brilliant idea of getting the 2003 version of the Shredder, Shirel, the Utrom, to help him take out the Turtles. Again, dialogues between Krang and the Shredder. We come to find out that there's no Krang in the 2003 world, but you just have these little like dialogues with them. You really get to understand the humor and the elements between the 2003 and the 87 version. Like the tonal difference is really there on display. So they end up taking Shirel, who was trapped in that ice dimension back in season 3 of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 03 series. So they end up transporting him out of there. We come to see that he gets furious that 87 is calling himself the Shredder too, just goes on a ballistic rampage where they decided to just gas him and end up dissecting him. But Karai shows up, like the 2003 version of Karai in the animated Back to the Skewers version, and she ends up just whipping their butts and trying to reawake Shirel. Meanwhile, you've got the Turtles trying to go look for the Technodrome. They run into Hun and the Purple Dragons, and the fight ensues. They again, another 4-fall breaking done with Hun and Ralph. It's just really perfectly balanced and done. Hun ends up going into the sewers to try and capture the mutagen he desperately wants. Some of it lands on his hand and he ends up touching one of the turtles while getting this infection. So he ends up becoming like a turtle mutant version of himself. And so he ends up going with the Shredder, the 2003 version of the Shredder, so that he can take revenge on the turtles. So as we go back into the lair, again, you're seeing the maturity and the experience with the 03 side versus the 87 side, because they're just not taking anything serious. They're just joking around all the time, which is starting to annoy Ralph. Mikey's starting to get a sense of it as well, but they end up deciding that they need to build this portal so that they need to go back to their version of their Earth so that they can get some parts to help destroy the Technodrome. But that's when Bebop, Rocksteady, all the robots, all the foot ninjas find the lair and just destroy the lair, capturing Splinter, while the Turtles manage to build a device to escape and ending up going to the Turtles of the 87s, their world. Again, once they get into their world, First Mind going for pizza, that's when Mikey finally snaps, Mikey of the 2003, telling them to start taking things serious. They get that little line of having to save April, like they always need to save April. It's sort of like a daily chore for them there. And then they end up going to their lair to try and get the parts that they need. And a really nice little moment too, you've got Ralph and Leo, the 2003 versions, meeting with the 87 version of the Splinter. And you have like the similar lines that the other versions of the Splinter would say. But they end up getting everything that they need, and they come to see that the Technodrome is now in the 2003 version of their world, destroying the city, throwing all these mutants out to try and like attack people. So these turtles now need to go back to the 2003 version of the world to try and stop the Technodrome. So they end up going, they have this little blimp, I think it's called, or like the little plane. You've got this little van going and trying to stop everything, trying to stop the Technodrome. They end up inside the Technodrome, and that's when they try to fight Shredder, only for Shredder to trick them because they're trying to rescue Splinter. And we come to find out that Shredder's plan, the 2003 version of the Shredder's plan, to wipe out all the turtles by going to the prime Earth where the turtles originated from, because by killing them off, you kill off all the multiverse turtles, which honestly is a brilliant idea, brilliant way as a villain. And this, for me, is like multiverse done right. Like, you showed all the Easter eggs of all the turtles from all the different versions of the world. Multiverse of madness, basically. So Doctor Strange, take note. So he ends up capturing the turtles. He thinks that he's going to be erasing all the turtles. Well, we come to find out that Karai, and what's frustrating with this, and especially in the 2003 version with Karai, is that she always goes to try and help the Shirel, goes to try and help the Shredder, to realize that he's batshit crazy and that he's getting out of hand, to then turn on him. It's like a running gag, a running theme, and you just knew it was going to happen here. But she ends up actually rescuing the turtles, so instead of them getting vaporized, they end up disappearing, and like with the drone disappearing and finding the Earth that originated the turtles to kill the turtles off forever. Once that drone disappears, the turtles end up landing in like the spot where the drone was, where they come to actually realize that they need to go to that Earth. So they try to scan to try and find that Earth, because at this point the world that they're in is basically getting erased. So you just see like this white screen passing over with the 2003 world. People are getting like sort of erased, like an eraser basically. You see Casey's getting erased, April's getting erased, and they end up disappearing, going into the prime Earth just before they're getting erased. So they end up in Turtle Prime's world, where basically this is the Mirage Turtles, the black and white turtles. And again, similar with like how Mikey really liked the 87 Turtles version, the Ralph 2003 version loves the Mirage Turtles because of how they narrate everything, how tonally completely different from 87. Like 87's all happy-go-lucky type of vibes, whereas the Mirage Turtles are all toned down, serious type of vibe. And so the 8 Turtles explain the situation to the Mirage Turtles. They end up finding the Technodrome to try and take on Shredder. That's when Shredder realizes that Karai actually betrayed him, and then you have 87 Shredder with Krang, who honestly throughout the whole movie were just having some great dialogue with one another, just throwing shade at each other. So you've got Karai, Splinter, 87, Shredder and Krang working together with all 12 turtles, so 2003 turtles, 87 turtles and the Mirage turtles, to try and take on the Shredder. Shredder's trying to outpower them, outmaneuver them. He ends up becoming really, really big, like Megazord, Power Ranger Megazord style big. The turtles had this idea of pushing him into like this laser because the Technodrome is blasting out the laser. They end up having this idea of pushing him into the laser, only for Bebop and Rocksteady to unplug the wire by accident, turning off that laser. And so Shredder's ending up getting the Mirage turtles and trying to crush them, trying to kill them. He realizes by doing this, the world is getting erased again, and he's going to be erased. He has this slight hesitation of not wanting to do it, but then changes his mind and ends up doing it, only for Bebop and Rocksteady to plug back in the wire, have the laser shoot out, and end up killing the Shredder, which was just a great sequence of events. Honestly, like, this was such a great time seeing the Mirage Turtles, seeing the 2003 Turtles, seeing 87 Turtles, everybody just working together, different style of animation too, just worked really well and blended so well together, ending up defeating Shredder and everybody saying their goodbyes. And then you've got the Mirage Turtles going to look for pizza, only to then pull it back to like the human world, where you've got the creators of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman, who they get up from their chair to go get some pizza, and you see the comic book, the Mirage comic books, the original issue that they were working on. So just a really nice little touch there to close out the special. And this was a really special movie for me. I had a really great time with this. It was a nostalgia multiverse movie done right for me, because I'm a huge fan. Like, I'm a huge fan of the 2003 series. Really enjoyed season 1 to season 4, season 5 and season 6, a bit of a hit and miss. Season 7 was a little bit of a dip, but overall a really great time with that. I've seen some episodes when it comes to the 87 Turtles. I'm not too familiar with the Mirage Turtles, to be completely honest with you, but overall it was just a great way to blend everything. Like I said, it's across the Spider-Verse, but done in turtle form back in 2009 with different animation styles, different tone, different comedy, different personalities, all blended together. And it just worked really, really well. It really did. Even the plot itself and the villains too, the villains just worked well together with how the combination of tone, how the combination of humor, it just worked really well all together. So I'm a really, really huge fan of this movie. Let me know your thoughts if you have seen it in the comment section down below, what your thoughts are about it. Did you enjoy it? Did you like it? Have you seen it? Let me know in the comment section down below. But it about wraps it up for this review for this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Coming up next, we've got the 2 Michael Bay movies. Those ones are going to be rough, I can tell you that right now. And again, the Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because like, when are you ever going to see Batman and the Turtles together? So 3 more reviews coming out, along with the Mutant Mayhem review coming very soon in the next couple of days. So definitely keep an eye out on the channel. Hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of those reviews. But thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for listening. This is YK Reviews. Peace.